Hello everybody, it is me, Jurassic Master, here to say that today we are going to be doing a breakdown on episode 4, or season 1, episode 4 of WandaVision. So, let's get started. There will be spoilers! What? Spoilers. There are going to be spoilers. I will be talking about the episode, so this will have spoilers, just to let you know. If you don't want spoilers, don't watch it. Come back and watch it when you've seen the episode. If you don't care for spoilers, continue watching. I hope you enjoy. I personally think the coolest part of this whole episode, or even this whole season, was in everybody blipped back. That was so cool to me. Of seeing everybody blipping back and coming back. That was just the chaos of everybody. It wasn't oh no, Charlie's coming back. Oh no, Billy's coming back. Oh no, Bob's coming back. No, everybody was oh my gosh, whoa, we were not ready for this. What is happening? What? It was everybody was that was one of the coolest scenes in Marvel. I personally felt that was one of the coolest scenes I have ever, it was so cool because, you could tell everybody was, panic was set in. Holy cow, panic was, everything was, I couldn't find anything on this guy. The only thing that I could think of is, they're gonna make it that he's the big bad guy, and it's not Baron Zemo who's behind the scenes, and causing Wanda to, cause everything to melt down and break down. I feel if it, they're gonna make it, I feel this guy's gonna be a bad guy, is basically what I'm saying. I couldn't find any, thing that was, comic book-wise, important, or, some, a reference. I couldn't find anything. But this is, there's a scene where Maria's daughter, Maria goes into her office, and the room number is room, 101. Now, I couldn't really find anything on room 101, but 101 is a play. If you look up Marvel, if you put in, if I wanted to know a quick gist of a Marvel character, but I didn't want to go into the comics in depth of research for read the comics, if I wanted a gist of a character, I would put in Marvel 101. That's something, and I'm wondering if that's a reference to that, of if you want to get a general gist on a character in Marvel, you put in the name of the character and then put Marvel 101. So they were talking about half their crew blipped out and half the other crew was supposedly going to space, were freaked out enough of we don't want to do it. So the thing is about them talking about going to space, well, their headquarters is not supposed to be on the ground. Their headquarters is in space, which I find interesting, because I think we're gonna have it that they're having their headquarters in space, which I think is cool, because now they have S.H.I.E.L.D. on the ground and a sword in space. So, yeah. They brought Jimmy Woo. I have nothing to say. It is just, I thought Jimmy Woo's hilarious. I loved him in Ant-Man and the Wasp. He was really funny. I liked him in that movie. I'm happy that we got to see him again. He was really funny. I liked it. So they talked about that there was the population of 3,892. I couldn't find anything Marvel related to that, but the thing is, the town didn't look that big. It could hold 3,000 people. It looked a little big, so I think that's a little odd, and sort of it seemed just odd, it seemed odd, but there's nothing there. It seemed just enough out of place to be hey, remember this number, but it just, I don't know, something about it. If you know anything about it, please let me know down in the comments. So we see a scene where we see this helicopter go in, and it says 57. Now, I don't know if this is me just looking too deep into it. I don't know, but there is a comic book called The Avengers Behold the Vision. Now, this comic book was basically Ultron turned Vision evil, and basically Ultron had control of Vision and turned on the Avengers. So this is the second time we would sort of be mentioning Ultron. Maybe this is like an homage or predicting what could happen in the future. Not saying that Ultron's going to be in control, but Vision is going to turn on somebody. Maybe, I don't know. There were also there was numbers that on the helicopter that said 3003. I couldn't find anything important with that. So, yeah. So, we actually get to be able to see how he got in there and why it changed. And I thought it was interesting that it changed to be like what was supposed to be how the environment looked like in the inside, sort of going with the time era. So it made it like a beekeeper instead of a hazmat suit, which I thought was really cool. Now, excuse me, we learn this agent is called Agent Franklin. He went into the into the tunnels below ground. Now, I looked up Franklin, and there are a couple things that came up. So, first thing that came up, which I thought was very interesting and important, is that there is a person named Franklin Richards. Now, if you don't know Franklin Richards, he is the son of Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman. That's like sort of the second time that we have mentioned the Fantastic Four. Maybe it's just me looking too deep. Probably is. I'm a person who looks into FNAF and assume everything is piece of lore. So, yeah. That's the second time we've mentioned Franklin. And then the other time, it could also be Dr. Franklin Hall. He was a scientist working on teleportation, and the only way that his machine would have worked was overloading the the teleportation machine. And then the machine broke and exploded, I think, something like that. And then he got gravitational powers. At first he tried to hide it so that no one would know about it. And then he was like, you know what, I don't care who knows now, and just let out his powers. I don't know, but yeah. That's what I have on for him. So we get a scene where Wong says the universe is making a sitcom starring two Avengers. And at first I was like, oh. And it was weird. And it was like, that's kind of interesting and sort of like a idea that it could be. At first I was thinking, oh, if it's the universe, they must be the Watchers. Now, the Watchers are people who basically are like they are the people behind the comics. They sort of are the ones that we're seeing what they see from their point of view. Now, and then I was like, wait a minute. There was another character that sort of did that. And his name was, let me introduce you to a character named Eternity. Now, Eternity is an interesting character that was from the Marvel Infinity Gauntlet one, where basically he stood trial brought Thanos to trial to the, I can't remember his name. I think it was like the High Council. I think it was the High Council, and Thanos basically destroyed them all. But that's the Infinity Gauntlet series, and I may talk about that later. But he basically, he's sort of like the Watcher, and like sees views over everything, including the multiverse. I believe so. So I'm wondering, maybe he's the one who's making this sitcom, and WandaVision is because this TV or WandaVision is supposed to lead into Doctor Strange 2. So that maybe WandaVision is affecting Trinity and is changing reality, and she's the one who's like causing him to collapse, and literally the universe falls apart. And Doctor Strange is like, hey, you just basically are messing up timeline in the universe. Come with me and let me help you. So we get a thing where we see all of their real names and who they're playing as. I couldn't find anything on them. Like, I couldn't find anything on them. Like, there was nothing that I could find that was, like, seemed important. Like, there was some, like, a little bit of stuff about this guy, and I think on these two, but it wasn't anything that was, like, seemed to be important to bring up. But yeah. But the thing is, we didn't get anything on her. Like, we haven't identified her, which I think is really weird, because I would think we would have an identity of her, because we see her in the trailer. So why aren't we seeing her here? I don't understand. Massive confusion. So I think Tyler mentioned saying, why is it a hexagon? Or maybe, I think it was Wong or Wu saying, why is it a hexagon? Or Tyler asking, why is it a hexagon? Now, I can't confirm, I don't know what it could be, but one of my theories for a second was maybe it's supposed to be like the 5 stages of grief, or the stages of grief. And then I looked up, there's only 5 stages of grief, there are not 6 stages. And so I'm like, okay, what's another thing that has number 6 in it, or 6 things? And the only other thing that I can think of that has six things is the 6 Infinity Stones. So maybe this has to do with the 6 Infinity Stones, maybe, I don't know. But I also want to mention the hexagon is not a coincidence, because we see it in the WandaVision episode 3 intro, and I rewatched the episode. His stone was always yellow. It did not change color, so yes, unless I missed it, but I really highly doubt it. We also got a scene where we got to see a dead Vision without the stone, and I thought that was interesting that we actually got to see that. So I'm wondering if Wanda is basically using Vision as like a puppet, and just sort of like being really weird and being like moving him around throughout the house and being like, yep, you're still alive, ha ha ha, you're still with me. So, and then I watched Marvel Legendaries or Legacy, something, I think it was Marvel Legendaries, and it talked about Vision being part of the Mind Stone and Jarvis and all this, and I'm like, wait a minute, maybe that's why he's starting to break through, because we got to remember half of Vision was the Mind Stone and Jarvis, and a little bit of Ultron, but I wouldn't really say a good majority was Ultron. But we got to remember, half of it was Vision, or half of it was Jarvis and the Mind Stone. And the Mind Stone gave him life, so maybe it's like a Golden Freddy kind of situation. No, I'm not going to bring that FNAF into this. This is Marvel. But maybe it's that his mind and physical body's not there, but Jarvis is still there. And Wanda can control people, but not robots. And that's why we sort of start to see him break out of this world of, like, Wanda's little world. Because she can't control a robot. You can't really control a robot. You can't control Jarvis. It's not a person. It doesn't have a mind. Jarvis does not have the Mind Stone with him anymore, so that's that. We also got scenes where he was skipping, or we got some scenes where, when Wu was talking to Wanda, some of the scenes were skipped. And I thought that was really weird, and someone's behind the scenes skipping scenes. Baron Zemo? Possibly? I don't know. I think Baron Zemo or someone from Hydra is skipping scenes and trying to keep her in her little world and not letting anybody else know or letting anybody else in for too long. Because if someone else gets in, Baron Zemo's jig is up and he will most likely be screwed. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching. It means so much to me that you took the time and watched this video. I want to say thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy. And yeah. Apricots, breadsticks, and banana peels. Woo!